Down at the bottom, you notice one of the ways we've tried to help demonstrators with sending their messaging is we have created what's called a designated speech zone. In Canada, anyone has the right under the Constitution to free speech, to say what they want within the confines of the law. And we respect that in Toronto and always have, and we support that. What we have done is to try to mitigate people. They're going to be out there saying, how do we get our message to these internationally protected people? Because probably not, you won't see them. They're going to be highly protected. They're going to be moving very quickly to their summit, going through their agenda. They're extremely busy people. So people are going to be saying, how do we get our message? So what we have done is we've created what's called a designated speech area. And what we are providing is a stage with a live audio and video feed right into the summit, where the summit is being held in the Metro Toronto Convention Centre. They will be able to see and hear exactly what the demonstrations, parades, or rallies are doing. And that place that has been designated is Trinity Bellwoods Park, which is located on the north side of Queen, just west of Bathurst. So that's what that is. And this is an attempt, like I said, to provide that opportunity to be seen and heard. And we will also be encouraging people from the international media to attend there if there are rallies and demonstrations there, so that they too can see and hear what our Canadian citizens have to say. For the businesses and people that may be affected, as I said earlier, there's two groups, and again, not to be confused. There's us, the Integrated Security Unit, and the websites I give you are for us for security-related issues. The federal government website, which I will provide too, on it in the next few days or weeks, they have a policy they call ex gratia. That is for businesses and people who may suffer a negative economic impact due to the summit being held here. What it is a policy where the government says, look, if you have lost or feel that your business has been affected, put in an application via this process and we will consider it. If you go to the federal government website, not our website, the Integrated Security Unit, but to the Federal Summit website, they will not only have this policy, which is about 4 pages of easy reading long, they will also have a telephone number on there where people that have questions can contact the appropriate people in Ottawa for the right answers, as opposed to getting, the runaround. So that's what the ex gratia has nothing to do with the security unit. That is a federal government policy, but I just wish to make you aware of that. Just to finish off, these are our websites, and I'll tell you why they're important. Number one, they're being populated with information, and as we get closer and closer to the summit, more and more information will get up there. There are media links. There are stories that the media has carried. 2 interesting things that are already up and running to try to help people follow and see what's going on. The Integrated Security Unit has a Twitter site and a Facebook site that if you go to this website, the link is right there. And right now it's kind of quiet because it's the planning stages, but as we get closer to the summit, that Integrated Security Unit website and Twitter, or I should say Facebook and Twitter site, will be populated by us with things, and I'll give you an example. Say, for instance, on the Saturday, at a certain time, there's a large parade or rally coming off of Queen's Park, coming south on University. We will be advising that through Twitter, and it'll be saying things like the police are now about to close down College Street for east and westbound traffic. They're shortly going to be closing down Dundas Street. So besides following in the regular media, and I always say 680 News, 1, 11, 21, 31, 41, and 51 minutes after the hour, you get your traffic and weather. And that's good advertising, remember. When you remember that, they've done good advertising. So the media will be doing an incredible job like they always do in keeping you up to date and on top of things. However, there will also be these 2 other sites that are directly under the or directly being run by the Integrated Security Unit. So again, if you go to that website, the other thing is, under that website, the CRG-GRC, there's a link. That is us again. That's the Community Relations Group. If you go there and email that email address, or you use the telephone number at the bottom there, the 1-888 number, you can leave questions via email or via telephone. We will get back to you. Presently, we can get back to you within 24 hours. It may turn into 48 hours depending on the volume of calls as we get closer to the summit day. We will get back to you. So if you have any questions or concerns, we are a resource. We're trying very hard to get out to as many people as we can and explain what's going on. And no matter how hard we try, we know that there are some people that will not be satisfied and there will be some people that will be missed. So we're trying our very best. So if you share that with anyone you know, rather than listening to rumors and innuendo, you can get, as they say, from the proverbial horse's mouth. So that's who we are, and that's how you can get ahead with us, or a hold of us, I should say. So with that, I guess I'll turn it back to the councillors, and I guess we'll be opening soon for questions and answers. Thank you very much.
So there are 2 microphones set up in the center aisle if you'd like to come forward. Just a couple of things we learned from this afternoon's session. If you could refrain from the political speeches, that's to follow during the events, I guess, at Trinity Bellwoods Park, we now find out. We're really here tonight to try to make sure that residents and businesses and people that work or have to move through this neighborhood get the information they need. So if we could keep it to questions about what's being presented here tonight, and as I said, leave some of the political discussions for later. Secondly, if it materializes the way it did this afternoon, there were a lot of people lining up. If you could try to keep it to 1, maximum 2 questions so that everybody gets a chance to ask questions. If you need to come back at the end, we'll accommodate a second or third, fourth, fifth questions if that need be. But please come forward to the microphones and we can start to try to direct your questions to the appropriate people to be answered.
We have the first person. Go ahead.
Just a quick question. You had mentioned that you have a voluntary process for people who live and work down here for easier access in the area. Do we email that address to get that? We have a business and our home in the greater area, the bigger area. So I was just wondering if we email that for ourselves and our employee so that they have easier access for the area?
That's an excellent question, and allow me just to explain a little more. What we'll be doing is contacting the property owners, because inside the security zones, there's no privately owned homes or anything like that. So we're going through the property owners. They will be in contact with the businesses and the employers of those businesses that are contained in their buildings. You will be hearing probably the next week or so if you're one of the persons that's going to be inside of a security zone, because you will be contacted by your property owner. They will provide a form in that if you wish to partake, and then the process, they'll know it, and then we'll get the information.
Well, we are south of Queen Street and in between the area. We're not in an enclosed zone, I don't think. We're in a private residence.
Okay. There is no private residence, so it suggests you can sleep easy at night.
Okay,
and you won't
great.
be involved in that process.
I wasn't quite sure where that encountered.
Yeah. And like I said, we'll be revealing the actual fence lines around the start of June.
Okay.
And if you do, like I said, I should add the registration process and the accreditation process, we will reach out to the people that need to have that.
Okay.
So you will hear from us and from your property owners. You don't need to contact us.
Okay.
And if you don't hear from anyone, then you're fine.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
There are actually privately held residential properties south of King Street, east of Spadina. So if you are a homeowner, for example, around Clarence Square, how would you go about contacting to register because you don't have a property manager?
Thank you. That's an excellent question too, Councillor. Once again, we've surveilled the area, and we do not have any private homes in there. If there was a private home, then we, the integrated security unit, would contact that person. But right now, every building in there is a business. Or I'll tell you honestly, there's one condominium. In fact, that's it.
Okay, great. Should we go to the back and then we'll rotate? Okay.
I live on Wards Island, and our island residents going to have one of these express cards to go through. We access the ferry like everybody else. We have to go around the Harbour Castle Westin, which may or may not be a hotel that internationally protected person lives in for that weekend. So what's going on there?
You will not need a pass. You will be able to ride your ferry up till the 24th. However, after the 24th, the Onagera ferry will stop until the Monday, and you'll have to take the regular ferries that go over. They will divert to Ward Island to get you home. Okay. So that's from the 24th of June onwards until the following Monday.
Then I have a question for the councillors. Can you make sure that the management of the ferry services are made aware of these changes well in advance?
Yes.
And that they have people not just in the ferry dock area, but out on the street in case there are lineups, to let people know that they're going to have to walk 3.5 kilometers from Wards Island to Center Island. That might make a change in their plans. And the other thing is to have extra people on the Wards Island side so we don't have a repeat of the Good Friday events that happened when people were actually fighting each other to try and get back on the boat.
Yes. thanks, Barry. I'll undertake actually to do that. I'll talk, I'm sure there's Parks and Recreation folks here, there's city staff who will pass that on, but I'll personally make sure that I speak to James at the ferry docks and to Gary, and make sure that that we have a plan that both gets the residents of the island backwards and forwards, but also allows them to get their groceries and do all of the things that they need to do on the weekends. And I'm sure that George is well aware of the issue of the ferry. And actually today when I was speaking to the deputy who's in charge of this, Deputy War, he indicated to me very clearly that he understood the importance of the ferry system continuing to work, and he has actually arranged to make sure that that happens, barring any of the other things, but we will make arrangements if there are any other unforeseen events.